Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Mary.
And welcome to Our Life version 3. In our last video, we left Makani at the Progressive Marine Boatyard in St. Petersburg for repairs. After several weeks of delays, we got word that she was ready.
Beautiful.
The yard had reconditioned the sail drives, glassed the hull near the port drive, and polished our fuel. All ready to splash and head off now. Well, we had some issues getting the port engine running, and after several attempts, we were pulled back to the dock to check the engines and the fuel.
Okay, so what's been going on here? Tell me
All right,
about it.
so we did all this. We cleaned the fuel tanks. Everything was just peachy keen. We pulled it out yesterday and wah, 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 everything died. We're in the middle. We scraped up the side of the boat. We've done everything. We pulled it back in today. I've heard fuel, electrical, this, that. So we did the diagnosis. Let's go this way because Mary and I
we were sleuths.
all of a sudden it occurred to us, it can't be this hard. We know that when we put gas in the ray core, the engine runs, which tells us it's here. So we finally pulled out the pickup line. Two giant algae turds.
Gross.
While the fuel had been polished, we found several aliens hanging out in the lines in the pickup tubes. Diesel bugs, or aliens, are a contamination of diesel fuel by microbes and bacteria. The presence of water and the new biodiesel fuels encourage the microbial growth, and they have a very short lifespan, but they multiply at an alarming rate. Having found our sludge, we believed the problem to be solved, and so we took out the following morning.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
A little nerve-wracking today, isn't it?
Took that off, so that's a good start.
Yeah, so far so good. We have a short 12-hour hop up to Anaclope Key tonight, and then we will decide where we're going from there. We're going to have to motor quite a bit of the way. That'll be a good test for the motors. Tampa Bay Sky Bridge and commercial vessel going through the main shipping channel. We're going to go to the right of the main shipping channel. Give everybody some wide berth. Should be plenty of room up there. Pretty bridge. It looks like spider webs when it's misty and foggy.
We were only a few hours out when, yep, we lost the port engine again. Fortunately, we didn't have to call for a tow this time, but hobbled back to the dock on one engine. Now's a good time to explain what we're facing. Makani sat in Fort Lauderdale unused for 5 years with the diesel from the Bahamas still in her tanks. We filled her tanks when we got her, which resulted in us just churning up all the sludge at the bottom.
So the saying was with a catamaran, there's two of everything. So you always have redundancy. What we're finding out is it means that twice as much can break.
The yard did polish the fuel, but they used the same hole for the fuel intake and return, which left parts of our tank untouched. These areas then are churned up in the rough sea as the fuel moves around, and well, that's why we're back at the dock for a polish number 2. This time we added biobor, a chemical that's made to kill the algae, a tank enema so to speak, and the result was... You ready?
Oh, gross.
After another 3 days at dock, we were facing a go, no-go decision on the weather and only had till Sunday to leave and beat the system.
Okay, so today we take off from St. Petersburg to Kemah, Texas. I know, we've said it before, we've said it multiple times, but this time we're actually doing it. We have a captain on the way, Captain Bobby, and then we have 2 volunteers coming in from Nebraska.
Chris and Colin.
Chris and Colin. And they're airline pilots, so between the 5 of us, we are going to get this beautiful boat to Kemah, Texas. Hopefully within 4 days.
We set sail on Sunday afternoon, and it was a beautiful sail day and night.
24 hours now, and we've gone about a little over 180 miles. So we're averaging 7.1 knots per hour. We'd like to keep that up. Hopefully we'll be able to. picked up our lucky kitty from Fritz. He's a happy kitty. He makes me happy just watching him. He's just so jolly. See, look at these waves. Not as high as they were this morning. This morning they were, we had easily 9-footers out here, so I'm going to say those are probably about 4 foot. Beautiful day.
Tuesday, the weather turned on us. Lightning storms and torrential rain had made for some rough runs sailing, but the worst was yet to come.
Rainstorm out there. It's going to be this way for a while. Yeah, we're in the Gulf.
Now, we don't have any video to show you this since we were fighting to keep the boat sailing, but I can summarize it as such.
But we got some foolishness in the Gulf, David.
There is foolishness out there. It's this spot in the Gulf of Mexico. It doesn't look like much, but this is the remnants of those thunderstorms that came through a couple of nights ago.
Around midnight, on a run with following seas and 25-knot winds, we were reefed and racing at a steady 9 knots. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we must have hit a water spout. We had 3 hard jibes and the battens were shattered to shreds. The mainsail was torn. Now, Makani has a top speed of 9.2 knots. But as this happened and we were careening down a 15-plus foot wave, I glanced down and saw winds of 50-plus knots, and the boat was speeding along at 17.8 knots. The Windex was spinning in circles and it was just scary. We had no option but to keep moving, using what was left of the sail and the engines to try to make forward progress. Around 2 in the morning, one of the crew received a call from an oil platform that we had veered into unsafe zones and were in danger of hitting an unlit rig that was not visible on the radar. Then around 4 in the morning, we received another call. This warning came from a different oil derrick who recognized us on our AIS and called to advise us that we were in the start of a gale force warning and a small craft advisory. Well, it took no time to decide it was time to head for shore. It took 3 of us to get the sail back in and strapped, and we headed for the nearest harbor, Port Fourchon, Louisiana. It took several hours of very rough sea to reach the port, and yes, we lost the starboard engine on the way. We did make land and determined that it was going to be several days of bad weather and so much to repair, so our crew wisely decided to call it, and they took off for the airport.
Well, bye guys! Safe travels!
Alone again in the storms with many repairs to make.
Wow! Look at the water! That is some crazy stuff. It's coming down big time. We need to buy some real rain gear, don't we? So happy with that. There's a storm out there. And why aren't we sailing in it? Huh? I mean, that seems like what we should be doing.
She's lost her mind and I'm reaping the rewards. Well, we spent the days cleaning the fuel filters, but found there was no one close by to repair the sails.
Man, the aftermath. Yeah. Our poor sail. We have broken battens all over the place. All right, watch it. 2 accidental chives caught up in. Look at that batten. Jeez. Snapped right there.
At this point, our only option was to motor the last 308 nautical miles and hope for light winds so we could use the jib.
Leaving Port Fourchon, Louisiana, heading toward Kemah. 2 days motoring is what it should take. There's our view as we leave this very industrial port. Head out to sea. This to head out to the Gulf. We are expecting a little bit of windy weather, you know, up to 25, 30 gusts, but we're going to be motoring, so we shouldn't have to worry about sails too much. Seas are going to be anywhere from 3 to 6 feet, pretty much all the way, but we should get there. It'll be really nice to finish this trip. It's been a long time in coming.
Captain Bobby flew back in to finish the journey, and off we went.
Jump in the Gulf. It's a real thing. Hey, yo.
Oh, hi.
How's it going?
Good, you're here to help.
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't know you were here by yourself, man. What'd you do? Okay, we're about 4 hours out of Port Shawn, Louisiana. And about an hour ago, our starboard engine died again. It appears to be the same sort of fuel issue, so I'm driving. But fortunately, we still have our port engine that's going strong. And we have our jib out. And so it's doing a little bit for us. So we're getting about 7 knots, 7.5, averaging, I think, which is great on one engine and just the jib. So we'll take that any day. But in the meantime, yeah, that's Steve down there again. We're getting on the fuel.
Now the Gulf is littered with so much oil equipment. Some equipment is lit, others are not. Some of the derricks have whistles or bells, and others you don't hear until you're right upon them. Between the oil derricks, the fishermen, the fishing boats, the crab pots, well, sailing in the Gulf is more akin to playing hopscotch than sailing, but the stakes are so much higher.
Huh?
Is that a life raft?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, hey, watch out for in front of us. See all that? That's all netting.
Yeah, that's all netting right over there, right?
Yep.
But I don't see anything over here. Well, that was something totally new. Little itty bitty, probably about 2 to 3 foot tall, just sticking straight up submerged pipeline, and then a big black pipeline thing, caution area. Went right through it. Just hard to see.
So, welcome to the Gulf of Mexico. That is that cluster. Don't want to go through that. Add Pit Horizon. Look at that bad boy in the horizon. So you've had an eventful night.
Oh my God.
You had like a fishing boat chasing you down.
Yeah, seriously.
Now you had a big old tanker crossing paths with you doing twice your speed.
Yep, and then all these little oil pipes and derrick. So yeah, but we are 81 miles.
Yes! I love 81 miles. I love under 100.
Yes. That's gonna be awesome. So somewhere around 3 or 4 in the morning,
Yep.
or 5, depending on when we
Or
decide to
6.
go in. Or 6.
2200, 2300, whatever it takes. "40 hours later, we arrived at the inlet of Galveston Bay around midnight. The Garmin had us coming into port around 1 a.m., well, at least until we had dropped the jib. Then it quickly became 4:30 in the morning. Late night does not slow the traffic in the bay. As we worked our way around many fast-moving tugs and freighters, they were friendly but fast. We finally approached Clear Lake and we faced our final 2 obstacles. The first was that we were coming in at high tide with a mast of 72 foot and bridge clearance of 73 foot.
Oh, we are really squeaking that.
Well, I'll just say we're going to be buying a new VHF antenna now. Finally, Captain Bobby weaved us expertly through the narrow channel on one engine right up to a T-head dock. A good friend, Captain Robert, was at the dock to help pull lines. We love the willingness and the passion of this group of sailors and this new community that we're a part of. At least we're now safe in harbor, and soon we'll begin sourcing repairs for the sail, the mast, the engine, and all the furniture that we destroyed in this crossing. The biggest lesson we've learned in this trip is the knowledge of how rapidly a situation can
We made
change.
it to Kemah. The last 2 days we did 271.8 miles in 42 hours and 13 minutes, and we are all bushed. So under 2 days.
Yeah, one engine and a jug.
Makani and the Gulf sure teamed up to give us a crash course on how exciting and unsettling our new lifestyle is going to be. Join us next time as we begin our repairs. Until then, safe travels, everyone.
Remember to find your dream and own it.
Don't forget to click like and subscribe so you keep up on our crazy adventures.